Hi, I'm Jessica Boyer, home stager, organizer, and life coach. I work with women to help clear the clutter both internally and externally so they can get to the root of what inspires them and start creating their own unique brand of impact. Follow me on this journey. Welcome to Create and Design, the beginning of dreams fulfilled. Welcome everyone, welcome back. I'm excited that you're here with me. Today we're just going to talk a little bit about, again, the pandemic, as well as some breathing techniques to help you during these kind of uncertain times. So what I have recognized as, we're about a week and a half into kind of staying put in Minnesota, at least. I know worldwide there's kind of different timelines that, there are different points in this pandemic, but right here in Minnesota, we've been kind of called to our homes for about the last week and a half. And as I've, kind of continued to do my work, I have my kids here with me, I'm kind of continually looking to the news, to social media outlets to kind of give me the latest, kind of newest information and updates. And what has kind of started to happen, and I'm recognizing as the week has continued on, is that I'm starting to see the impact of kind of that fear and anxiety that is surrounded by this pandemic. We don't know kind of what's going to happen or for how long it's going to be taking place. And so as a result, I've kind of set myself up, and I'm sure many of you are recognizing the same situation, as you're kind of in this chronic stress state. While it's wonderful to be connecting with your family at home and kind of slowing things down, there's that unknown in that other aspect of this pandemic that is creating a little bit more of that fear. And when we live in that kind of chronic stress state, we're in a sympathetic state, and it's that fight or flight that's happening. And unfortunately, our body doesn't know how to discern whether or not we are, physically in harm's way or not. And so when you live at that stress state and in that chronic place, it can start to create health issues, sleep issues, mental health issues. And so what I'm wanting to share with you are a couple of different methods or breathing techniques that can kind of bring us back into homeostasis in that parasympathetic state. And that's where we want to reside. I know with many of my clients, and for years we've talked about this in a lot of my coaching, and I have seen the impact and the results of it, not only personally, but for them and with them as well. So one of the first breathing techniques that I'm going to share with you today is where you take a full breath in for the count of 4, you hold it for 7, and then you exhale for 8. And we will do this like 4 times. And really what that does is that kind of brings us back into that center. It is considered a technique to kind of slow down the anxiety and anxiousness. So let's get started. Go in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. And you do that 4 to 8 times. Really, I have found that if I just do it even 4 or 5 times, I've noticed that I can start to physically feel that shift inside. So that's one breathing technique that you can try. For many people, holding your breath for a count of 7 can be very difficult, especially if you have any sort of kind of respiratory issues or lung issues. And so another breathing technique that I find to be, just as relaxing and helpful is just that take a deep breath in for however long, whatever number of counts. Kind of there's a pause at the end, and then you exhale for 1 beat longer than your inhale. So 4, out for 5. You're going to go in for 4, hold, out for 5. And do that. And just kind of as you're doing that, think positive thoughts, some of those areas in your life that you're very grateful, and kind of that gratitude thought process. And as you're breathing in and keeping track of your counting, you'll start to recognize that your body can kind of shift back into that center as well. So kind of in review, there's 2 different breathing techniques. I would recommend that you even start practicing it before you feel anxious, before you start to feel, overwhelmed, because as soon as you can get your body to recognize that you are breathing and trying to recenter it, the easier those techniques will be. I know that for many people, starting to do a breathing technique in the middle of a breakdown, or for the first time, or as they're starting to be really triggered, most people don't think about it at that point in time. So I do recommend practicing this in advance of those situations, so that when you start to feel anxious, you'll remember, oh yeah, I have that breathing technique that can really help me out in this situation. So in review, there's the 4-7-8 breathing technique, where it's in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. And then there's the breathing technique where you count in for like a count of 4, hold for just a brief second, and then you out for 1 beat longer than your inhale. So if it's 4, your exhale is 5. If you breathe in for a count of 5, then your exhale is for a count of 6. So your exhale is 1 beat longer than your inhale. And I recommend that you try these things on and see what works for you, because we do want to try to calm down kind of that sensory overload that we are all living in right now, in this unknown and this uncertainty. So until next time, with much love and light, see you then. As always, the world is a better place with you in it. Join me again next time.